Previously on the Privateer.
Just looks so dialed.
It's time to start getting Adam in race shape, but first his trainer Todd Schumlick of PerformX Training needs to see where Adam is starting from. Adam will be tested on mobility, power, and stamina. These tests have been curated by Todd specifically for his program and figuring out where Adam's weaknesses lie.
From the 2017 season, what would you consider your top 3 physical weaknesses on a bike?
Okay, I'd say number 1 is stamina.
You see a little bit of fatigue as you is with the stages or with increased output or time. What would you say the second might be the second weakest area on bike?
Cardio over there on the climbs. Quite often fatigue in a liaison and before I get to my race.
Third, is there a third weakness you could consider?
Narrow down to upper body or...
Sure. You're pretty injury free. I'm not going to put words in your mouth.
No, yeah.
But you have no big weak link.
Yeah.
Now what we're going to do is move on to the biomechanical part, which is basically the functional movement screen. So
all right.
Let's move along. Squat down as low as possible.
Yeah.
Limited dorsiflexion. You can lift your back heel, go down, knee touching the ground, back up. Perfect. Stop there. I'd consider that raw score 3 out of 3. You won't be scoring 3 out of 3 on this. Something's going on with your shoulder. Mobility or lack of? Yeah, exactly. It's that's one of his obviously biggest sort of issues right now. High as you can go.
That's it.
Wow. Dude, that's brutal. In our testing, we recognize that he's, well, again, we'll run the numbers, but a really low amount of mobility, or call it flexibility. That one's got more mobility, a heck of a lot more mobility. It still scores bad because I'm going to measure you. That's like 18 versus 25 inches from your hip. Do you know what it should be?
No.
0. You are the worst hamstring mobility I've yet to see in 24 years.
Oh boy.
I think it's going to be a huge difference, more so than, right now I'll say it, a lot more important than his cardiovascular training at this point. Straight down, go straight down, straight. That's good, that's best. Stop. Okay, put your knees down. You just scored 1 out of 3. Keep going, no, you're still not there, no. There it is. Nope. Nope, we're done. We just did the, the concept test with the rower, bike, and skier, so testing wattage and maximum and sustainable. Maximum is, say, low for a guy that races elite or pro level.
Todd puts all of his athletes through this torture to measure their progress throughout the training cycle. Adam completes a max power test and then a stamina test where he holds 90% of his max effort for as long as possible.
Pitiful?
Oh.
306. You want to see 306 or a little bit better on that screen. You got that first 10 seconds to get there. There you go. Don't blow out. Just 306. Let's see what kind of sustainable power you have. Let's see what kind of basically endurance. Don't stop. Make it a true test. Up again. Harder. You're done. Good job, man. For somebody who there we go. Sobriety test right now. He didn't feel like he had that kind of short-term power.
You just need to go to the bathroom.
Well, then you go ahead. This isn't made for TV, is it, Adam?
No. A little bit nauseous, yeah.
His endurance is decent, but partly due to because he doesn't have a high output. Last interval in your warm-up. Okay, good warm-up. You're done. We have a mop and a pail if we need to. I'll run the numbers and we'll look at it compared to other elite athletes, but from off the cuff right now, it's probably one of the lowest I've seen this year for definitely, I'd say it's the lowest I've seen this year for an elite athlete. Let's go. The goal, hold 135 watts or slightly better for as long as you can. Way to go, a little higher, 130. Keep going. You're done. Wow, good stamina. 230, average watts, 135. We're done. It's not about ego, it's about having that knowledge so you know where you're at, and call a little bit of motivation or inspiration to do the work, which Adam definitely seems to be keen.
Adam now has his training plan, which features a variety of activities. Remy Gauvin is a stages athlete and finished 8th overall in last year's EWS series. Adam joined him on one of his typical road training rides to talk about life as a pro racer.
You can't hold me down. 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 You can't hold me down.
How did you used to be able to afford to race when you were back in the day?
I guess it started out with my parents taking me to the races, and you know, the local shop would help me out with the bike, and then as I got better and my aspirations to race, you know, in farther away exotic locations got bigger, I started working in Alberta on the oil rigs to fund my race season. So I would work for like 4 months in the oil field on a drilling rig, and then you know, quit in March and basically spend all of my hard-earned cash traveling to Europe. I remember one instance I did 54 days in a row of work, 100% night shift. So that was 54 days of nights in a row, and that's totally illegal, but I did it anyways.
That's disgusting. How long have you been using power to train?
This is my 2nd year with a power meter.
Okay,
yeah,
not that long.
It's definitely a valuable instrument, training tool to have. Just knowing what a perceived effort is in real numbers, and being able to kind of like reverse that to know what number you can look at on your computer during a day and say, okay, I can like hold that number for quite a while, or vice versa. If you are, you know, maybe in a liaison on an enduro race and you're pushing way too much wattage, like you kind of know that that's probably not going to be sustainable for very long.
Yeah, you, like you said, perceived effort. You think you're going hard and putting down as much.
Hard.
Yeah, it feels hard.
No matter what.
So, but you don't know whether that's helping you go forwards faster or not. So, yeah, I've definitely been able to increase, and we've seen my power go up over the last 5 months. And it's good to have that tangible number to see progression.
So right now we're going to do a watt challenge, max watt challenge. Basically is put out as many watts as you can in 3 seconds. And this doesn't really help with your training, but it's a lot of fun, and it's good to you know, see who's the fittest of all your buddies.
Let's see what watts Remy's putting out. Here we go. Oh, look at the acceleration of the man. Based on my watt gauge, 1,400.
Check it out. 2,000 watts. Yeah. Adam, what do you got? Judging by his fitness, you know, the amount of training he's put in the last couple weeks, that he's probably gonna get about 1,300 watts. Yeah, not bad.
3,000?
I was thinking 1,400.
Oh!
13.
I got 1820.
Dang! Pretty good.
Disc jockey.
Maybe he's been training harder than I thought.
What was the hardest part of being a privateer?
Just the time at races when you know, you're trying to rest, you're trying to focus, and your wheel explodes in practice, or you rip a derailleur off, or your suspension needs to be serviced, and you're trying to deal with that when you know, the other guys are putting their feet up and getting some good food in them and everything. It's just time that they're saving, but that time turns into energy, and energy saved in a race weekend. So I mean, that's huge when you're trying to, you know, win World Cups or EWS races. It's insane.
Yeah, so how many positions better do you think you'd be with a chef versus without a chef? Do you think we're talking 10 places or 20?
I mean, it depends how close to the top you're getting, but I would say the 80th place rider could probably get 20 positions just with some good support staff. Yeah. And what do you think of the tests that you've done so far?
Yeah, it's been quite hard testing so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're getting stronger all the time.
Time has passed, and it's time for Adam to check in with Todd. As the community starts to get behind Adam, the local gym has even helped out with a free membership.
We are meeting with Todd today to find out the next 3-week plan. The plan's been like really tailored for mountain biking. You can see straight away he's targeted a lot of my weaknesses, which became quite apparent in the initial testing. And the biggest difference compared to what I would normally do, which is just go out and smash myself riding or just go and wear yourself out. It's doing deliberate exercise, like targeted sessions each different day of the week. It's really beneficial, and I've never really stuck to a plan this religiously and consistently. I've made some massive gains in the last 3 weeks. What can I say? My hamstrings are going to be loose and nimble within a couple more weeks, I think.
So it's 2 seconds up, and then slightly slower on the way down, 3 seconds down. Hip flexion, hip extension. Good, and your mobility, hey, listen, come up. Your mobility was here at my house. Do it again. Dude, you're almost to 90 degrees now. You wanna see 90? No, but it's close. You got good control. You're not flinging your leg up. When you started, you weren't lifting your leg. You were trying to kick it in the air. Yeah, you really didn't have any strength in your hip flexor. Flex your core, and better yet, that might be a bit ambitious. There you go. That's good, because you're not twisting. If your back arches too much, that bottle will fall off. It's unbelievable how you didn't even have, you didn't even have the range of the stretch. How many times have you done this now? 2 workouts? 3 workouts?
3 now, yeah.
You've done under 100 reps of this, and your range of motion is nearly doubled in your hip. Hey. Cool high five. Nope. Good job, man. I like seeing that. That's a massive improvement. Don't use your arms. You like to use your arms for support. On your bike, hey, we don't want you to use your arms for support. We want you to use your own pelvic tilt. Your arms should be there to what? Just ride your bike. Good. Now go do a deflection, hip extension. Don't use your arms, don't use your arms. Good, 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 good. Let yourself shake. Come back up. Yeah, nice. You couldn't do that. Well, we're doing great, because we're seeing your greatest weaknesses improving, which was hip flexion, hip extension, and having that, that mobility, and also having that strength through a greater range of motion, which is mobility. Mm-hmm. That's critical, especially on bike when we talk about that. I mean, we're just entering into the 3rd week. Mm-hmm. So we're just the tip of the iceberg, right? Just the start of it, and to see that improvement, like what? Nearly 50% increase in range of motion?
Yeah, it's upwards.
In your hips, so
it's huge, been huge.
So that's what we want.
Yeah, for you to point out my weaknesses straight away like that and then tackle them, it's been huge. Making big gains already. I'm at an age or time in my life where I'm in a really solid routine, and I'm not going out on the beers. We're in Squamish, it's raining all the time, so I've got nothing better to do than intervals in the gym. I've just been sticking to it religiously, following, when it's such a proven training plan, you just stick to it.
Next time on The Privateer.
It's race day, isn't it?